What's up, guys? Welcome back to another edition of the Leadoff Show. I'm back at home this week, so we have the screen share going. Appreciate you guys for still watching, even though it was just an iPad video the last couple days. Got a huge slate here today on this Friday. We got a 12 game main slate, so we got a lot of games to go through. Hopefully, you had a good last few days. And I ended up fading Tatis last night and going with Bogarts, so that worked out last night with Tatis at min price. He had that crazy ownership, but tonight I think he's 5,100, so kind of back to a normal slate. We have no Wrigley game, that's early. No Coors game, so I think ownership's really going to be spread out on this slate, so we'll go through it. But I think my advice is just don't get cute. If you find something you like and in a spot you like, just play it, because I don't think ownership's going to be too chalky anyway, or any one way. So we can jump into the weather real quick. We do have some weather concerns, starting here with Miami, Cleveland. Roth says there's a decent chance at rain before the end of the game. It's Braxton Garrett versus Plesac in that game, so we probably don't care at all anyway. But that is something to be of note. Houston, Atlanta, showers moving in late towards the end of the game. We can talk about that. We got an interesting game there, I would say, between two good teams. And then this one here is interesting. Washington, Minnesota. Ross says it's going to snow. It's just a matter if they want to play through it or not. And that's probably going to be the one we're going to be following closely, just because Tyler Mally's in this game in a good spot versus the Nationals. So hopefully we get some news. I would think that if they're going to cancel it, they'll just cancel it, 2 p.m. or something, before they have all the fans drive to the stadium and sit in the snow, just to have the game postponed, right before lock. So I think we should at least know one way or the other on this game early enough. But yeah, we'll be watching just because of Tyler Malley specifically. All right, so we can go ahead and get started here. We got the Rockies versus the Phillies. 3.2 total for the Rockies, 5.8 total for the Phillies. 73 degrees, 9-mile-an-hour wind, right to left across. So Noah Davis at 5.6K for the Rockies. Going to be out on him. Like I said, this is really just a don't get cute slate for me. I think there's plenty of good. With 12 game slate, we have plenty of pitchers to pick from, plenty of hitters to pick from. So I'm not going to waste my time playing someone like Noah Davis against the Phillies. Nola here is definitely interesting. 9.4K. He's cheaper than some of these other aces, cheaper than Ohtani specifically on this slate. But man, he hadn't been great to start the year. But if there's ever a spot, it's here against the Rockies. We just saw Strom have 11 Ks against them last game out, or last night. So I think Nola's probably your highest owned pitcher on the slate, and for good reason. I trust the long term. I'm not too concerned about any potential struggles he's had this year so far. So I'll be going right back there to Nola in this spot. Rockies, I'm going to be out on. Even if I don't play Nola, I'm not playing the Rockies here in this spot. Anybody I would have interest in would be like Blackman or McMahon, but they're just too expensive. So really no interest there. The Phillies, though, are definitely interesting. When we should be able to attack Noah Davis. Really, I think the problem with the Phillies is just going to be you might have to go cheap at SP2, which on this slate, we'll go through it, but it's kind of hard. There's a lot of pitchers in like the 8.5K range and up that we like, so it might be hard to get to the Phillies. These prices are pretty steep. Brandon Marsh has been off to a good start, but 4.7K for Marsh just is crazy. So maybe you just take some one-offs here in this spot. Overall, stack wise, or like as a team, I like them, but once you start trying to build them, I think you might struggle. Schwarber's good, but 6K is tough. Turner 6.1K is tough. Stott on his own, I don't like too much. I kind of like to have some home run upside or steal upside. He's kind of okay in both of those facets, so probably out on the full Philly stack, but I'm gonna try to build with them, I guess is a better way to say, and then see what we're left with after. All right, Blue Jays Yankees, 4.01 total for the Blue Jays, 4.49 total for the Yankees. Yusei Kikuchi, 7.1K. Domingo Román, 7.8K. little bit favorable pitcher wind here, 63 degrees, 9-mile-an-hour wind blowing in, but I'm gonna be out on Kikuchi here. Not worth it playing him against the Yankees. Herman is definitely interesting. I mean, if they let him use sticky stuff, he could go out there and dominate. But this is a good Blue Jays team. Let's see what PlayIQ says, how they are specifically against righties. Because if you do need to kind of go cheap, there's not a lot of cheap options. So I think you might be looking at like Matz, Herman, Tyler Wells, maybe as like any guys under 8K that are you can even consider. Yeah, pretty high strikeout rates in the lower part of the order, but I don't know. I mean, this is who Herman is. 21% strikeout rate, 7% walk rate. That the guy that went out and pitched last game. I mean, obviously there was all the sticky stuff, conversation and everything. So I don't know. I would probably need to see it more than just this one starts. I think I'd probably be out on Herman tonight, but if you believe this last start is more of who he really is, then I think he's in play. But I think there'll be pitchers we're going to try to pay up for. But if we can't quite get there, maybe we fall back on Herman here in the middle. Blue Jays, though, I think I'm going to be out. Overall, we just showed that they're not the best versus righties, especially the bottom of the order. And top of the order is really expensive. Wind blowing in. Herman has been better. So I think I'm out on the Blue Jays overall. The Yankees are definitely interesting. Kikuchi's someone that can get lit up in a hurry. Let's see what we're looking at here. The Yankees lineup, especially the middle bottom, is just full of terrible hitters. I mean, look at these ISO numbers here. That is so low. Kikuchi really struggles versus righties, so maybe just I could see Volpe, Judge, Torres, maybe as some type of mini, or take two of those guys or something like that. I think that's all I would really do here in this spot. I don't think a full Yankee stack is really in play, just because you're kind of forcing in some guys that just aren't that good. So maybe some minis for the Yankees, but I think that's probably where I'll end up on them. So all right, let's move on. Tigers, Orioles, 3.86 total for Tigers, 5.14 for the Orioles. Michael Lorenzen, 5.9K. Not taking him here in this spot. Tyler Wells, 6.2K, is probably the best, cheapest pitcher. I mean, at his price range or lower, I think you have to go to him. There's not a lot of guys below him, but I mean, my strategy here is just to not play guys like this. There's plenty of hitters to pick from. There's no reason to play a guy like Tyler Wells, especially in the spot. It's 82 degrees in Baltimore. I'm gonna be out there on Wells, I think. But if you end up stacking two top teams and you have to get one cheap guy, Nola Wells, maybe we'll do that for you. Maybe if you end up playing the Phillies or someone like that. But on the hitter side, I'm gonna be out on the Tigers as a full stack. I do like some one-offs though. Let's see if Wells has high splits, because I do like some of these cheap Tiger lefties. Especially like Kerry Carpenter, if he's in there. That Tyler Wells is. He's actually pretty good against lefties. Struggles more against righties. I don't like taking righties in this ballpark though, with that stupid left field wall that they have. I could see going with Maton, maybe Carpenter if you need somebody. Maybe just as a one-off, either one of those guys if you need them. They've been having a good season, and maybe if Tyler Wells starts getting steamed up as like a cheap SB2 that people are going to play, I think there's been a lot of interest in putting Carpenter in there. So I think that's all I'd have interest in on the Tigers. The Orioles, definitely in a good spot here against Lorenzen. I hate full stacking in this ballpark now that they moved the fence back. I think that just makes it difficult. But against Lorenzen, I think they're going to be in play. You just have to see if you can make it work. I mean, you really want to have Rushman in there, but it gets tough once you have a 5.5K catcher. Henderson, he's been off to a rough start, but I'd still just believe in the talent there. Yeah, I think really Santander, I think he's in a great spot. Only 3.9K too. Sometimes we can see him up around 5K. So yeah, I think some combination of the Orioles would be good. Maybe Mullins, Rushman, Santander, Henderson, Urias, maybe something like that would be good. But the Orioles are definitely in a good spot with the weather against such a bad pitcher. So, and moving on, Marlins, Guardians, 3.74 total for the Marlins, 4.26 total for the Guardians. This is our one of our main weather concerns, which is fine because I don't really have a lot of interest here. Braxton Garrett's a good pitcher, but this Guardians team just doesn't strike out, so really don't have a lot of interest there. Maybe on a different spot. And then Plesac is kind of the other end. It's, more strikeout heavy team, but he just can't strike anyone out himself. So probably out on either one. If this game plays, I could see you going with Plesac or Wells in that 6K range, but it's not worth. Let me look at this hour by hour. It's not worth it to me to try to squeeze in this game for subpar pitchers and hitters as well. I'm just going to avoid it. These offenses are pretty rough, so there's no point on the 12 gamer to waste your time flirting with weather concerns. If it was a 4 gamer or something, and this is made up 25% of the slate maybe, but it's just not worth it here, so we can go ahead and move on. Astros Braves, definitely interesting game. 4.25 total for the Astros, 4.25 for the Braves. Got Hunter Brown 9.8K, Bryce Elder 8.3K. It is 79 degrees, a little bit of wind blowing in, so probably neutral with the heat, but a little bit of wind blowing in, so probably just a neutral day in Atlanta. I will say I would take a shot on Hunter Brown. I don't mind. I mean, huge strikeout guy. We know what this Braves team can do strikeout wise, but just not at 9.8K. I mean, that's more expensive than Nola. That's more expensive than John Gray. More expensive than George Kirby. I mean, it's just not worth it against the Braves, in my opinion, to pay up for Hunter Brown. I mean, he's going to be basically unknown. So if you think, this is a spot for him, you can go there. But like I said, I'm not going to try to get cute on this slate. I'm just going to take what's there. I don't think ownership's too concentrated in any one place. So I'm probably out on Hunter Brown. Bryce Elder's probably in the same boat. If he was 6.5K or something, or 7K, I might have interest, but I'm not paying basically the same price as some of these other top pitchers in a matchup against the Astros. So no interest there. The Astros stack, I'm probably out on as well, though. It's one of those things. Bryce Elder's still pretty good. I don't think he has the K upside to be a great fantasy pitcher here, but as a full stack, this Astros team's been pretty bad against right-handed pitching. Just have a lot of righties in there. It's basically only Tucker and Jordan are the lefties. So I'm probably out on the full stack for the Astros. We can see if Elder struggles versus righties or not, since he's going to face so many righties. Yeah, he's pretty good against righties. But yeah, I think I'm out here on the full stack. Of course, Jordan and Tucker are always in play, but good luck trying to pick. I always feel like I picked the wrong one between the two, but you basically can't play them both just because of the price tag. But I guess either one would be in play just as a one-off. The Braves are kind of in the same boat there to me. Hunter Brown is a good pitcher, so it makes it hard to full stack. But if you want to pick a piece here or there, I don't have any problem with that. They should be virtually unowned. I mean, anytime you can get Cunha, Olsen, or Riley at low ownership, it's hard to pass that up. Especially you can see Riley's numbers versus righties. He can smash righties, but I mean, look at these ISO numbers for Hunter Brown. He's been really good this year. So probably out on the Braves full stack, but one or two sneak into my lineup. I might let them stay, but yeah, probably just a full fade. These pitchers are good enough, but at their price tag, I'm probably out. And then these hitters are good, but in this matchup, probably just not the spot for them. All right, next game we got A's Rangers. JP Sears versus John Gray. 3.31 total for the A's. 4.69 total for the Rangers. Gonna be out on Sears here in this spot. I think I'd rather just go Wells or something like that. But like I said, not really messing around at this price range, so doesn't really apply to me. John Gray, though, is definitely interesting. He came out last start after taking a line drive off the forearm, I think. So if he's in there, then I assume he's healthy and ready to go. He's probably, so I think we have like Nola, Ohtani, Gray, Kirby, probably as like maybe the top 4, and Gray's definitely going to be in there. I guess I'll probably try to pay for Nola and Ohtani. If I can't, I might have to fall down to Gray. That's probably where I'll end up. It's just a great spot. I mean, the Oakland's terrible. We can see if the roof's open or not, but even if it's open, I think I'll still take Gray here in this spot. But I think ownership will follow. I think he should be pretty popular. So this Oakland side, not taking any hitters here, just not worth it. If I don't play Gray, that's fine, but it's not worth it trying to pick off one of these bats. Rangers, though, I think are going to be one of the main teams I'm looking at here. I definitely want to see if the roof is open. If that's the case, then I'd love the spot here, especially versus a lefty. I feel like they have a lot of power righties in there. Let's see if we can pick out any specific players here. This stack. Ezekiel Duran's right now projected second. That'd be awesome if that's the case. He's got great numbers, or good ISO numbers, but just being in the 2-hole at cheap price is great. Yeah. High Woba versus both, but definitely gives up a lot of power versus righties, and that gives me a lot of interest in Garcia, Jung, and Heim. I think I could see you going like Simeon, Duran, Garcia, Jung, Heim. I think that's a great stack there, and then shouldn't be too constrictive salary wise. Yeah, 2K, got a couple guys in the 3K range. Yeah, so I think something like that could definitely be good. I mean, I've always said if the roof is closed here in this park, I'm probably a little less likely to pay it, but Rangers are definitely going to be in the mix for me today. All right, next game we have Red Sox Brewers. Nick Pivetta versus Freddie Peralta. 3.65 total for the Red Sox, 4.85 for the Brewers. Gonna be out on Pivetta, just not worth it here in the spot. He's a big home run pitcher at 7.6K. I'm not playing him against the Brewers. Peralta, I don't know. He will be, I think, maybe a fifth of Ohtani's ownership, I think is a fair statement. I mean, if you want to pivot, he's definitely going to be unowned, and he has massive upside just with his K rate and stuff. So I think this is a unique tournament play that I would not mind playing. I'm a big Peralta believer. He's going to be in the mix, but just know that he probably projects lower than like Nolo, Ohtani, and Gray. But if you end up on something and you can pay for him, then I wouldn't mind it at all. The Red Sox, I'm going to be out on, like I said, how much I like Peralta. It's really just going to be figuring out if I can afford Peralta. It has nothing to do with his talent. So I'm going to be out on the Red Sox, looking to see if there's any specific bats in there. Maybe Tristan Casas as a cheap first baseman, but I don't think there's any reason to get too cute here in this spot. Let's see. Yeah, just pretty good versus both sides here. So, yeah, if you really want to attack him, maybe Casas, but I'm probably out on the Red Sox overall. Brewers, I think, are probably one of the top stacks of the day. Probably one of the top 3, maybe. They're probably right there, I think, with like Texas and Baltimore, maybe San Diego. We can get to them later, or even Philly if you can afford them. But just prices on Milwaukee make it so much easier to play them. You can just see it. Only guy over 5K is Adonis. You got guys that bomb half the order, basically men's salary. So I like just about any combination of Brewers here in this spot. We can see. Still a believer in Yelich. I know he hadn't had the best season, but I still just trust the long-term talent there. Adames is great, righty. Tellez has been great. Contreras is in a great spot here. So I could see just about any combination of these guys, but I think Tellez and Contreras are the two that I'd really would try to fit in there. Yeah, you can see Pavetta's numbers are bad versus both sides, but especially power against lefties. So I think even Bryce Terang would be an interesting cheap guy if you need it. But yeah, Tellez and Contreras I think would be the two guys I would try to make sure in there. And then after that, just whatever you need and whatever fits. So I do like the Brewers though. All right, moving on. We got Nats Twins. This is the game that has potential snow. 2.99 total for the Nats, 4.51 for the Twins. Out on Trevor Williams. Let's be quick since this game probably gets canceled anyway. Tyler Mahle, I think he's if the game plays, he's probably your SP2. I would say he's like right there with John Gray, just projection wise. So it really just, if this game plays, I think he's good to go. Especially if there's a lot of concerns before the game, people might kind of get off of him a little bit, but we should know. I think we should know well in advance whether this game plays or not. So if the game goes, I like him. If not, then just move on and don't even worry about it. Out on the Nats against Mally. Probably out on the Twins as well. I mean, it's snowing. It's going to be miserable tent. I look at 37 degrees, sleeting. It's just not worth it here in the spot. I mean, if Gallo's 4-2 now, that's not worth it. If he was still around like 3K, maybe, chase that home run from him. But outside of Kepler, I don't think I would consider anyone else. But in this snow potential, just move on. It's not worth it here. All right, next game, Royals Angels, 2.97 total for the Royals, 5.53 for the Angels. We got Taylor Clark opening for Ryan Yarbrough against Ohtani at 10.8K. Going to be out on these Royals. I'm not going to mess with a combination of pitchers, so no reason to waste time there. Ohtani is in an awesome spot. He's been great this year. The Royals have been terrible versus righties. I really like Ohtani here. Let's pull up his play back here real quick. Definitely can see the strikeout total for the Royals. Yeah, Ohtani 33% K rate. High K rate here outside of Pasquantino for the Royals. So really like Ohtani here. But that price is a little constrictive. So you're gonna have to try to fit him in. When him and Nola, they'll probably be about even as a top on pitcher. I think maybe around 30% or so. If you can afford both, great. But it might be kind of tough. So, but I'm going to be doing my best to get Ohtani in there. Royals, as much as I love the Royals, this is not the spot for them. So, going to move on. Angels on the other side. Like I said, we've talked about before. I hate stacking them when Ohtani pitches because that's just taking out one of the best bats that you don't really have access to. And then, Rendon's been rough this year. The bottom of the order hadn't been great. Neto has kind of flopped a little now that he's there. O'Hoppe got hurt last night, so I'm probably out on the Angels full stack. But a guy here or there is always in play. I mean, Renfroe price is kind of tough, but he's had a good year. Let's see. I would like to play Drury, see how he looks. I don't think he's had a good season so far. And Yarbrough, he kind of struggles versus righty, so maybe like Trout, Renfroe, Brandon Drury are probably my favorite on the Angels. But like I said, I'm probably out on the full stack. Just a couple of them might sneak into my lineup. Our next game, we got Padres Diamondbacks, 4.5 total for both teams. It's pick'em game. Seth Lugo versus Zach Gallen, 8.5K for Lugo, 9.6K for Gallen. If the roof was, I believe the roof's going to be open again. If that's the case, I don't think there's any reason to play Lugo. He's had a good season so far, but there's just really no point in going there in this spot. I think we have better pitchers in better spots. So at that price, just play Kirby or pay up for Gray or try to follow Tyler Malley or something if that's the case. Gallen, on the other hand, I think he kind of fits the same mold. I mean, he's a good pitcher, but yeah, you can see the Padres kind of got to him a little bit early in the year. He's a good pitcher, but with that roof's open, I just really don't have interest in playing pitcher in this spot, especially against this Padres lineup. Obviously plenty of power, but low strikeouts too, kind of across the board. So I'm probably out on Gallen. See if anything stands out. Yeah, pretty low, especially the heart of this order there. So yeah, I think I'm out on Gallen just in this spot with this price, but hopefully he garners some ownership because I'd love to either fade him or even take some of the Padres. So yeah, like I said, in this spot, I think the Padres are certainly in play. I mean, Gallen is a great pitcher, but it's going to be probably, I think, 85, 90 degrees with the roof open and just an awesome offense. You can see some of these guys are pretty cheap too. Tatis is finally like what he should be. He does have outfield and shortstop eligibility, so that's nice. But I think you can fit like Cronenworth, Carpenter, Grisham, guys like that in there. A couple of those guys mixed with a couple of the top of the order, and you should be good to go. So I think Padres will be in consideration, and I would hope they're low on. I mean, Gallen's such a good pitcher that they should go virtually under the radar compared to these other teams. So it will be in consideration for me for sure, but no, it is a kind of a risky spot against Gallen. Diamondbacks are in a good spot as well. Like I said, just really this ballpark. I'll take any team really in this spot. You know, without Wrigley Wind or without Coors, this probably is the top hitting spot on the slate. So have a lot of interest in Diamondbacks. Their prices are low, so you'll be able to kind of build whatever you want. And this might be, if you go 2 aces, this might be the team you end up on. So just keep that in mind if that seems to kind of be popular as the day goes on. Just, you know, maybe try to get a little different, just maybe with a secondary stack or something like that. But I really like Moreno. I would try to get him in there. Like I said, just try to have that catcher in there with your stack. Yeah, Lugo struggles more versus righties too, so don't be afraid to play guys on either side. But yeah, Walker's in a great spot here. He's good against righties as well. So I could see him being in there. 3.3K is way too cheap for him as well. So he should be probably mid 4s or so. So I like Walker. If you're, whether you stack or not, I think I might try to fit him in my lineup. All right, next game we got Cardinals Mariners. 3.71 total for the Cardinals. 4.29 total for the Mariners. Steven Matz 7.3K versus George Kirby 8.9K. I think both these guys are interesting. It's a good ballpark for pitching. Matz is kind of in a price range that's about as cheap as I would go. Would be to like Matz or Erman. And Matz has been decent this year. It's really just, you know, if he can keep his pitch count down and go deep into a game, but huge K rates here for the Mariners against lefties. So I think Matz is, I think I prefer him over Erman if I had to go cheap, but I'm gonna try to get 2 guys above that 7K range. But looking at Kirby though, just a tough team to take a pitcher against. I think I'm probably out on Kirby. Yeah, this Cardinals team just has a lot of firepower, so in this spot I'm probably out. But if Malley's not in there, then Kirby's probably your best 8K pitcher, I would say, at that point. So you know, if you just barely don't have enough money for John Gray or Aaron Nola and you end up on Kirby, I think it's okay to play him. He should be pretty low on, but I think I'd have him as a step down compared to Gray. Both these stacks I think I'm out on. These pitchers are good enough that I'm not going to take the full stack here. Maybe some one-offs, but I don't know, I really don't love it. These cheap lefties for the Cardinals are no longer cheap, so I think I'm out on anything there. The Mariners righties definitely have some home run upside here. I could see going with one of them. I seem to always get J-Rod wrong, but I think J-Rod, Suarez, Hernandez, Cal Raleigh, Pollock, I think kind of any mix of those guys will be fine. I'm probably on the full stack though, just in this ballpark. Matt's a decent pitcher. I'm probably not taking 5 of them, but if you took 1 or 2, I think that'd be okay, and kind of just chase that home run. All right, last game we got here, we got Mets Giants. 4.25 for the Mets, 4.25 for the Giants. Joey Lucchesi versus Anthony DeSclafani. Lucchesi is probably the cheapest pitcher here that I don't know if he's the cheapest pitcher even on the slate. Yeah, he is. So he's even cheaper than Noah Davis and Michael Lorenzen. So Lucchesi coming back from Tommy John. He was a decent pitcher for the Padres a few years ago. I think he's had 2 or 3 rehab starts. So pitch count is probably in like the 85 range, I would think. No matter how your rehab starts go, I feel like teams still, kind of limit you a little bit. But man, I just remember playing this guy. I feel like he gets very wild, and you just hope he can keep his pitch count below 80 through 4 innings or something like that. So I'm out on Lucchesi. I think, like I said, just no interest really in going cheap for me in this spot or in this slate. So I'm out. But I mean, we've targeted lefties against the Giants all season, so it wouldn't be the craziest thing if you just need that cheap pitcher. DeSclafani has been pretty good this year. That price is pretty high though, 8.1K. I don't love that. And this Mets team just doesn't strike out much, so I'm out on DeSclafani. I think here in this spot, it's not really worth it, in my opinion. The Mets is a full stack, on the other hand, I'm probably out on as well. I wouldn't mind a few pieces. Maybe we can look at them and pick a few pieces here or there. I know Vogelbach would be a cheap lefty that we could get against DeSclafani. Let's see. Yeah, struggles pretty good versus lefties. Heavy ground ball pitcher though, so gonna take someone like Vogelbach or Alonso who can get the ball in the air against them. So I think one of those two guys would maybe be the only place I would go. Brett Beatty's probably just gonna pound it into the ground against this guy. So yeah, Alonso, if you can afford him, he's never a bad play. But Vogelbach is a cheap first baseman if you need him. Wouldn't mind that at all. So San Francisco side, I think if Lucchesi gets steamed up, this is a pretty good spot here for the Giants. They will, like I said, they always pinch hit. It's just so annoying. So I think if Conforto's in there to start the game, I would like that. Just because he'll finish it, obviously. If they're starting a lefty, then he'll definitely finish. But JD Davis could get pinched over. Darren Ruff, they'll probably put in someone to hit for him towards the end of the game. So out on the full stack for the Giants. But if Lucchesi starts getting a lot of steam later in the day, I wouldn't mind taking a piece here or there against him. Estrada could be interesting if he does bat leadoff. So, well, 5.1K makes it tough. So I don't know. VR maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Probably out on Giants overall, but yeah, like I said, if Lucchesi starts getting some steam, then maybe you can consider him. So, all right, recap. I think kind of our three-headed monster is Nola, Ohtani, and John Gray. I don't think there's any surprise there. Hopefully, people are down on Nola just because of the start he's had this year, but I'm perfectly fine playing him again. Ohtani's price makes him kind of tough to fit in, but he is worth it, I think, on this spot. And then John Gray is right there. I think his salary is appropriate in the spot versus the A's, so I like that. Malley really just depends on the weather, but if he's in, I think he's right there in the mix with those guys. If he's out, then probably just avoid him. Next tier maybe it's like Kirby, Matz, or Bond. If you end up in that 7 to 8K range, you need somebody, I'd be fine with any of those three, but I'm likely gonna avoid that range. And if you need cheap, maybe like Tyler Wells or Joey Lucchesi, but like I said, I'm not going there on this slate.